Okay, so hello everyone. So it's 9:30 now, and let's begin with today's session. And let's wait for 1 minute for others to join in, and we'll start with today's course. And so as you can see, the so today's video will be very short as today's agenda is very small, and we'll be making our first application in JavaScript, and that will be in under 10 lines of code. And this is what we'll be building right now. So this is a basic to-do list application. You can add your tasks, like I'll add a better task. This is no, do laundry, uh, study really, an item, and code, another item, and sleep, like very important. And after you add all the codes, all the tasks, you can hover over them and simply remove them from your list like this. So you can add your task 1, task 2, and you can remove them from the list. And this is gonna take less than 10 lines of code in JavaScript. And so let's begin coding. So first of all, I have created a new HTML file inside my folder. The code is also already available there, and it's on GitHub. I'll just show you github.com. So if you want to follow along, or if you want to just check out the code, you can come directly over here on another tab or anything. It's under episode 4 projects, and I'll just refactor it for after some time, and it's to-do.html, and here you can find all the code that I'll be writing today. So let's get started. So first of all, I'll create a default HTML document. I'll just remove this, I don't require it now. I'll call it to-do list, and inside the body I'll create a new division. I'll give it a class name of main, and inside main I'll give a h1 of basic to-do list application, and I'll create another div, and I'll call it card, and inside card I'll have so first of all, I'll be needing an input box, and with the input box I'll type whatever I want to type inside the input box, and I'll need to add another button, and I'll click that button and it will get added inside the tasks. So it's here. So let's start div class card, and inside this just a second, yeah, input. So I'll type input. The type will be text, and the ID will be item, and I'll create a button, and the button ID I'll give the ID, or I'll skip the ID for now, and I'll give it a class later. I don't think I'll need a class even. Okay, so I'll type I'll do nothing right here and just say add item, and after adding item, what I'll do is I'll create a paragraph text, and I'll say your tasks will be displayed here, and I'll create an ordered list, and I'll give it an ID of tasks, and inside that there will be some list items which I will leave it blank for now, because it will be dynamically added using JavaScript. So that's all that I need to do for the HTML part, and after this I just need to write the JavaScript part. So let's see how this looks right now. So I'll open the browser and I'll run it simply to-do.html should be right here only. Anyway, I'll open the folder otherwise. Live stream episode 4 to do. Basically the to do first part is the code that I created previously for this demo. It's this one, and to-do list, this one is the thing that I'm doing now. So basically my task will be written here, task 1, and when I press this add item button, it should be visible over here. So right now obviously it won't work because I haven't written the JavaScript for now. So I'll open the console and let's write the JavaScript for this. So before that, let's see if I have any questions in the comments. And okay, so Shivam, your query is, can you add me to BVP DSC WhatsApp group? So if you are already a member of DSC BVP, you should be there in the WhatsApp group. Otherwise, if you are not a member of DSC BVP, I suggest you to tune always more or less always at 9:30 on YouTube, and I'll be streaming at that time only. Otherwise, you can type a comment if you have any other query or request. I'll do that. Okay. So moving forward, I need to write the JavaScript now. So inside, after the div, I'll just create a script tag. And inside the script tag, I'll write the JavaScript. So first of all, I need to add a method on this button. That will be an onClick method. So basically what onClick does is, as the name suggests, whenever this button will be clicked, it will trigger something. So here something will be a function, and I'll call the function add item. And whenever I click this button, on click of this button, this add item function will be invoked, and I'll write this add item button add item function right now. So inside the script tag, so in JavaScript, if you want to write any function, this is how you do it. You type the keyword function, you type the function's name, you put 2 parentheses for the arguments, and then you open the function body using these braces. There are other methods also of writing a function in ES6 version of JavaScript. I'll be discussing that in future. So inside add item, now what I'll do is I'll simply write document dot get element by ID. And here I am interested in whatever is inside this input, and the ID is item, so I'll write item, and the things will be stored in a variable, so I'll create a variable and I'll call it new task, and which will be equal to whatever comes here, and I'll console log this new task. So what it should do is, inside this, whenever I write something, I'll refresh this, and whenever I write something here and click the button, it should be displayed in the console that is on the right side. So I'll write task 1, and if I write add item, so as you can see here, it's not exactly the thing that I want. It's the whole HTML element. So to fix that and to get the actual item from it, what I need to do is that, I need to write dot value. So what this value does is it goes to document.getElement by ID. It picks up that element that is the input element, and dot value basically extracts whatever value is inside that input field and gives it to this variable that is new task. So if I run it again, I'll refresh it, task 1, and I click add item, you can see task 1 is displayed over here. That is, it's working correctly. If I write task 2, or I'll write suppose a big word, anything, volcano, for some reason it came into my mind. So as you can see, volcano is getting printed over here. So I just need to pick this thing now and place it under the your tasks thing. So I'll do that. So first of all, I need to create a new HTML element using JavaScript, and for that I need to do this new item, let's say, and this will be document dot create element, and I need an element of type list items, that is the li type of element. Also, before this, I need to create a text node. Basically, in the previous video, if you saw, I created a text node. So you create a text node, you put that text node in an HTML element, and then you take the whole element and embed it into your HTML page. So for that, I'll do this. So our text node will be document dot create text node, and I'll simply use this new task text, which is a string, and I'll create a text node using this field. And I created a new element, that is the list item element, and inside this list item elements, now I'll insert new item dot append child, and I'll create a text node element and I'll put it inside. So what this line is doing, it's taking the new item, that is the list item, and inside the list item it's appending a child, which is the text node. And this text node is the same text node, that is the new task value that I just extracted from the input field. And now after I have a new element, I just need to put this element inside the document, inside the DOM, that is the document object, and I'll just do it like this, document object model, and I'll do it like this. So document dot get element by ID, and the ID of this ordered list is tasks. So I'll put in tasks and dot append child, and here I'll simply return this new item, and that's about it. And if we run this inside this task 1 our item, you can see it's being created over here. If I write another 2, task 2, it will come here, task 3, task 4, task 5, and so on. So basically this is done, and the next thing that we need to do is basically two things. That is, first of all, after something is being written here, I need to remove this from this particular box because that's no longer required. And the other functionality that I need to create is to remove these items from the from this text field, from this list. Alright, so the first one is easy, that is very easy, and for that what I need to do is, after everything is done, I just need to take this again, this value of the input field, and I'll just have to set it to null. So basically after this is done, the value of the input is set to null. So I'll just run it now, I'll refresh this. So task 1 add item, as you can see it's getting removed from here and getting added over here. So task 2 add item, task 3 add item, and so on. So this is done. Now what I need to do is, on click of this list item, I need to remove it from this location. So I hope everything is fine, and I just need to check the question. If you have any question, now is the time to put it in the comment box. Okay, so will you be covering closure and its practical use of where it is used? Okay, so Shivam, yes, I'll be covering that, but not in today's video, maybe in a future video. And I'll be doing that using projects only. I'll be creating JavaScript projects live, and using those projects, I'll be demonstrating the use of JavaScript in various forms. Okay, do we have any other question? Okay, so moving forward, now what I need to do is to remove items from the list. So for that, I need to have another function, and the very interesting thing that JavaScript does, it enables me to add functions directly to any variable. So to add this, I'll just show you how it works. So if I take this new item again, which is a list item, and every element on the HTML page has some properties that are pre-built, and one of them is onClick function, onClick. So basically whatever element that I'm having, and if I put an onClick property on it, so whenever that element will be clicked on the web page, I can enable it to do something else. So similarly, there are some other properties also, like these: on abort, on animation cancel, on blur, on cancel, and so on. There are hundreds of properties that you can see over here if you have VS Code. So right now what I'm interested in is on the onClick property. So if I have a new item, and I need to do it over here only because once the item is created, I need to have something attached to this on-click property of that item. If I do it separately, suppose outside this function block, so this new item does not refer to anything because the life cycle of this new item is only within this function. And if I need to create it outside of it, I need to have many items that different IDs for different items so that I can refer to them from within the code. Also, if you can see, I'll just show you uh, in this particular page, if I go to elements and I expand this main class and I expand this class, and after that I explain this tasks. So as you can see here, 3 tasks are being rendered by JavaScript on this page, and I haven't written any of these tasks, and these are separate list items. All right. So to target each list items, and as you can see, this does not have any on-click property over here, like this button has an on-click property over here. However, this list item does not have an on-click property on them. So I need to have a way so that I can put an on-click property on this list item. So for that, what I need to do is that I'll simply, as soon as the item is getting created, I'm gonna give it an on-click property. So new item on-click, which will be equal to a function. And what this function will do is actually remove the element from the list. Remove from list. So this is something that JavaScript is very cool about, and this, I don't think it is available in any other language as per se. And so what it does is it allowed me to create a function directly and attach this function, that is the on-click function, to this function, whatever I'll be writing over here. And using that function, I can handle this task. So whenever this item will be clicked, first of all, I'll get the whole list. So var tasks is equals to document dot get element by ID, and I need to have the whole list of items, and this was tasks here, tasks. So I'll simply write tasks, and I'll do simply like this, tasks dot remove child. Now what do I need to remove? So if you are familiar with concept of object-oriented programming, there is something called pointers, and there is something called a this pointer. So if I write this over here, so what this will do is it will take this particular instance of this new item, that is this particular new item which is being created right now, and it will attach this keyword to this particular new item. So it sounds kind of funny, but that's how it works. So tasks.remove child, this will take the whole list and remove this particular child node from the whole list. So let's see if it works. Sorry. So task 1, task 2, task 3. So if I now click on any particular task, it should remove it. So yeah, it's working fine. And I'll give another try. Task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4, task 5. And if I remove task 3, it will be removed, and you can see the order of the list remains the same. It does not creates an issue with the order, and I can do this. So that's about it from the JavaScript part. And as you can see, we have created the whole code, the whole application in just 13, okay, not 13, in just 19 to 34, that is just 15 lines of code. So only 15 lines, and it also includes some empty lines. I'll just remove them and I show the exact count. And this is about it, and that's more or less 10 or 11 lines of code in total. So that's the whole project, and this is a very simple to-do list application. Now to go from here to over here, I just need to add some CSS. So since this is not a CSS tutorial, I have already created some styles for this project previously, and I'll simply copy the whole styles as it is. So inside the head, I'll just create a link tag, and I'll create a rel of style sheet, and type will be text/css, and the href will be styles.css. So that's it, and if I now refresh the page, should have my styles. And if I put anything, task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4, and hovering on top of it should give me a strike through. So basically this is achieved using a CSS property. I'll show you. So inside the styles.css, if I'm taking this list item, and on hovering over the list item, it is having a line through property which basically strikes it from the list. So that's about it. That's all for today's tutorial, and if you have any questions, put it in the comment box right now. Okay. So can you elaborate more on the remove function that you just made? Break it in simple steps if possible. So alright Shivam, I'll do it for you, and basically this is the remove function. That's not an explicit function on its own, so I'll simply write it all over again for the sake of it. So when I'm creating a new list item, which is using this line, so what this line does, it creates an element of list item, and inside this list item, what I need to do is to have some property that enables me to click that list item and have some functionality. So for that, if I had it in my HTML already, if there was a list item, and which suppose it says this is a list item, and if I wanted to add an onClick property on this list item, I needed to write it like this, onClick, and for this I needed to have a function passed over here. So function could be anything. So just for it, I'll write a test function. I'll call it text func, and I'll simply do like this. And inside the script, I'll define this function text func, and what this function will do, it will simply alert or say console log list item clicked. So now to test that over here, if I open the console real quick and refresh the page, you can see there is a list item already present, and if I click on top of it, there will be a console output of list item clicked. But in this use case, if you are following it properly, I don't have any list item at all. It's like this. So how do I define another function that actually gets triggered on the click of something that is created using JavaScript? So for this, I need to do is that whenever this item is created, I need to have this function, and I need to bind that function to this particular list item. To do that, what I'll do is I'll simply refer to this variable, that is the new item variable, and which is of type list item li, and on this I'll put a property of onClick, and this property is equal to a function. And this function is the same function that I defined there. So it could be like this. I can write the function over here, test func, and I can define the function outside of the block, function test func, do something over here. Or what can I do is that I'll simply take this whole thing, I'll remove this from here, and since I don't need to name that function, I'll simply write function over here and define the function over here as it is. So for this, I need to have tasks, which is document dot get element by id, and I need to have tasks, and inside this tasks, I need to remove a child remove child. And what do I need to remove? I need to remove this. So this is nothing but a pointer to this instance of this variable. So new item, in this scope, it is referred to as this. It's kind of confusing again, but this refers to the particular instance of new item in this scope. That's all you need to know right now. So that's about it, and that's how it works. So if I again refresh the page, and I do this, it will remove it. So that's it. That's how the remove function works. So if you have any further queries, please put it down in the comments. All right. Okay, so if we don't have any further queries, I think that's about it, and I will end the video over here. And if you have any comments, please put it down in the comments. I'll review those comments later after the stream, and I'll try to answer them in the next stream. So thank you everyone for watching, and if you liked it, please share it with your friends, and that's about it. Thank you. Bye bye.